is a quote. A lot of people had access to that Tesla. That's from somebody connected to all of this. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But if they did,
well, that would definitely come
from the very beginning. People on the internet were raising concerns and asking serious questions about David's manager, Josh Marshall. And now, it appears that the worst fears many had are turning out to be true. Online users have long alleged that Josh was aware Celeste was underage, yet still pushed her to run away from home and live with him and David. Now federal authorities have become involved. Josh has been arrested after disturbing leaked footage reportedly surfaced, allegedly showing him forcing 14-year-old Celeste Riva Hernandez into a Tesla. Prosecutors say he could potentially spend the rest of his life in prison. However, before everything spiraled into this chaos, there were warning signs all over the place. Josh was never meant to be involved in something this disturbing. His role was supposed to be managing David's career, not completely ruining it. But here's the most shocking detail of all. Josh didn't just acknowledge the Celeste situation. He was explicitly warned about it. In February 2024, one of Celeste's family friends reached out directly to Josh. This was not a vague or unclear message. It included Celeste's missing person report, complete with every important detail. The message stated clearly, "We know Celeste is living with you guys. She needs to return home." Even more shocking is what happened next. Just one day later, Celeste did, in fact, return home. This makes it impossible for Josh to claim he didn't know what was going on. He received the email. He saw it. There is no denying that now.
And that they included the missing persons flyer. She's a missing person. She's, 12 or 13 at that time. And the next, I think it was the next day or the day after, she showed up. She just showed up on her own.
Josh was fully aware that Celeste had been reported missing. He knew she was underage, and he knew she was connected directly to his own client, David. And yet, only a few weeks later, Celeste ended up right back in the very same apartment, once again living with both of them. This was not online speculation or random rumors. This was a confirmed sequence of events, backed by people who knew Celeste personally and worked tirelessly to bring her back home. Now, really think about that for a moment. If you are managing an artist signed to Interscope Records and someone informs you that your client has a missing 14-year-old girl staying in his home, what would any reasonable person do? You would contact her parents, notify law enforcement, or take immediate action to protect both the child and your own reputation. You would do something. But Josh did nothing. He stayed completely silent. Private investigator Steve Pfizer, who had been following this case for months, appeared on Pop Crime TV and said the total silence from Josh, from David, and even from Interscope Records was overwhelming. He said it made all of them look extremely guilty. And that silence did not end there. Even after Celeste was eventually found, Josh went online and denied everything. He claimed he never received the email, never lived with David, and had no knowledge of Celeste at all. When TikTok users began piecing together the timeline and connecting the dots, Josh pushed back hard, dismissing the claims as unfair and baseless. But that was when inconsistencies started becoming impossible to ignore. Celeste had shown up at his residence twice. That email in February was what sent her home the first time. And when she went missing again, her friends didn't contact random people. They reached out directly to Josh. That fact alone spoke volumes. At that point, the situation stopped looking like simple bad publicity. It started to feel genuinely disturbing. And when Josh finally decided to speak publicly, his words didn't clear his name. Instead, they made people even more suspicious. He tried to change the narrative, portray himself as a devoted family man with 3 children who had absolutely no connection to Celeste. He posted a lengthy statement online, and this is exactly what he said. The video was false and the person was misinformed. He stated this would be the only time he would speak on the matter for now. He said it had been an extremely difficult time for his family, emphasizing that he is a father of 3 children. He claimed he never received any emails, was not anyone's roommate, and lived full-time at home with his wife and kids. He went on to say that his daughter is 14 years old and that this situation was impacting many lives. He repeated that he never received any emails and had zero knowledge of anything. He said he does not live in California and works remotely 95% of the time. He added that his job does not require regular interaction with David, claiming others handle him daily. He ended by saying the situation was tragic for Celeste's family and that he hoped authorities would uncover the truth soon. He also reminded people that much of the discussion was speculation and alleged, saying that in the meantime he was focusing on helping his family process the situation emotionally. He asked that people only report factual information. On the surface, it sounded like careful damage control, like a father trying to protect his family. But there was one major problem. The evidence did not lie. The email existed. The timeline matched perfectly. And Celeste's friends had contacted him directly before she disappeared again. Despite everything, she somehow ended up under his roof twice. And then came a detail that sent chills through the internet. When police found Celeste's body, she was wearing a bracelet with a single letter M. Online users immediately connected it to Josh Marshall, who had been photographed multiple times wearing a gold chain with the same letter. Maybe it was a coincidence, but in a case as disturbing, very few people were willing to believe that. According to LAPD reports, Celeste's body appeared to have been inside the Tesla for weeks before the vehicle was finally towed. Neighbors said the car had been sitting there for a long time. Even more disturbing, the Tesla was not hidden away. It was parked openly on the street, moved a few times, and eventually abandoned on Bluebird Avenue as if nothing had happened. When 2 yard workers noticed a foul odor, they contacted police. And what officers discovered shocked everyone. Celeste was found wrapped inside a bag in the trunk. Her remains had been dismembered. There was no way to explain that away. That was not an accident. That was a deliberate attempt to cover something up. Then another detail surfaced that caused the case to explode online. A neighbor reported finding a Tesla key card near David's Hollywood Hills property, lying openly in the gutter. They admitted they initially picked it up with bare hands before realizing it could be evidence, and quickly turned it over to the LAPD. With all of this coming to light, Josh's denials began to sound shaky at best and deeply suspicious at worst. Even then, he doubled down, commenting online and telling people to stop creating false narratives and assumptions. He insisted he had no cars in California, did not live with David, and had zero knowledge of anything. But social media was not convinced. Fans continued connecting the dots, and every trail seemed to circle back to him. At the same time, on David's official subreddit, which had over 200,000 members, fans launched their own full-scale investigation. They shared screenshots, analyzed lyrics that suddenly felt unsettling, and revisited scenes from old music videos that now appeared far too dark to ignore. Then things took an even stranger turn. Without warning, Reddit posts discussing Celeste began disappearing. Entire threads were erased as if they had never existed. Users noticed that the only listed moderator on David's subreddit was David himself, that many had the power to delete posts, shut down conversations, and remove anything that made him look guilty. Fans erupted in outrage. They accused him of trying to erase evidence. Shortly after, the subreddit was completely locked. But that was not the end of it. What surfaced next made the situation even darker. It turned out Celeste might not have been the only young girl involved. Several individuals came forward alleging that David had a pattern of pursuing younger girls. One person claimed he had been dating an 8th grader and secretly taking trips with her to Los Angeles. Her friends reportedly said David paid them to remain silent. These weren't random rumors. They came from people who said they witnessed it firsthand. Months before Celeste's death, a chilling comment had already gone viral under one of David's TikTok videos. It said, "Waiting for LPD to get your ass for messing with that 13-year-old girl." That comment was posted in February 2024, long before anyone knew about the Tesla or Celeste's body. Looking back, it no longer sounded like trolling. It sounded like someone who knew exactly what was going on. And the fact that David never responded, never denied it, and simply let it remain visible for everyone to see made it even more unsettling. According to LAPD reports, Celeste's body appeared to have been inside the Tesla for weeks before the vehicle was finally towed. Neighbors said the car had been sitting there for a long time. Even more disturbing, the Tesla was not hidden away. It was parked openly on the street, moved a few times, and eventually abandoned on Bluebird Avenue as if nothing had happened. When 2 yard workers noticed a foul odor, they contacted police, and what officers discovered shocked everyone. Celeste was found wrapped inside a bag in the trunk. Her remains had been dismembered. There was no way to explain that away. That was not an accident. That was a deliberate attempt to cover something up. Then another detail surfaced that caused the case to explode online. A neighbor reported finding a Tesla key card near David's Hollywood Hills property, lying openly in the gutter. They admitted they initially picked it up with bare hands before realizing it could be evidence, and quickly turned it over to the LAPD. With all of this coming to light, Josh's denials began to sound shaky at best and deeply suspicious at worst. Even then, he doubled down, commenting online and telling people to stop creating false narratives and assumptions. He insisted he had no cars in California, did not live with David, and had zero knowledge of anything. But social media was not convinced. Fans continued connecting the dots, and every trail seemed to circle back to him. At the same time, on David's official subreddit, which had over 200,000 members, fans launched their own full-scale investigation. They shared screenshots, analyzed lyrics that suddenly felt unsettling, and revisited scenes from old music videos that now appeared far too dark to ignore. Then things took an even stranger turn. Without warning, Reddit posts discussing Celeste began disappearing. Entire threads were erased as if they had never existed. Users noticed that the only listed moderator on David's subreddit was David himself. That many had the power to delete posts, shut down conversations, and remove anything that made him look guilty. Fans erupted in outrage. They accused him of trying to erase evidence. Shortly after, the subreddit was completely locked. But that was not the end of it. What surfaced next made the situation even darker. It turned out Celeste might not have been the only young girl involved. Several individuals came forward alleging that David had a pattern of pursuing younger girls. One person claimed he had been dating an 8th grader and secretly taking trips with her to Los Angeles. Her friends reportedly said David paid them to remain silent. These weren't random rumors. They came from people who said they witnessed it firsthand. Months before Celeste's death, a chilling comment had already gone viral under one of David's TikTok videos. It said, "Waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with that 13-year-old girl." That comment was posted in February 2024, long before anyone knew about the Tesla or Celeste's body. Looking back, it no longer sounded like trolling. It sounded like someone who knew exactly what was going on. And the fact that David never responded, never denied it, and simply let it remain visible for everyone to see made it even more unsettling. That silence spoke louder than any statement ever could. As fans began linking David's lyrics and visuals to real-life events, the narrative took a darker turn. People rewatched his music videos, and what they noticed made their skin crawl. In the video for One More Dance, David plays both the killer and the victim. In one scene, he drags a lifeless body across the floor and forces it into the trunk of a car. At the time, fans dismissed it as edgy art and creative shock value. But after Celeste was found inside the trunk of his Tesla, that scene felt horrifyingly different. It felt as if the crime had been shown before it happened. Whether it was a disturbing coincidence or something far more sinister, once people saw it again, they couldn't forget it. While fans analyzed lyrics and visuals, one powerful entity remained silent: the label. Interscope Records, the major force behind David's career, released no statement at all, not even a basic acknowledgement. That silence spoke volumes. And the fact that this was the same label that once signed Cassie when she was still a teenager only deepened public suspicion. To fans, it looked like the label was protecting a financial asset rather than demanding justice. That lack of accountability fueled even more outrage. Soon, the backlash wasn't only about David. It was about Josh Marshall as well. On X, users called out both men, posting screenshots, emails, and detailed timelines. Josh and his denials were not forgotten. One viral post summed up the anger perfectly. It said the silence was deafening. It questioned why David had nothing to say about his underage girlfriend being found in a car registered to him. It asked how Josh Marshall, who managed David and knew everything about his life, could remain silent. Fans were furious. Neither man had spoken publicly. Some users openly called for their arrest. saying one or both of them had done something to Celeste. They pointed out that Josh knew she was underage and missing and demanded justice, criticizing the LAPD for moving too slowly. By that point, the conversation had moved far beyond eerie lyrics or deleted posts. It began to look like a coordinated cover-up. An artist, his manager, and a major record label, all staying silent while the body of a 14-year-old girl was found in his car. And the longer that silence continued, the more people believed the truth was being deliberately buried. For long, it wasn't just random fans online throwing out theories. The conversation shifted when people who actually knew Celeste began speaking up. Her ex-boyfriend, Damien, said she didn't have the easiest life at home. According to him, Celeste would often joke about running away, but at times it didn't feel like a joke at all. He remembered her laughing about leaving Lake Elsinore behind, and then suddenly she was gone. Damien's mother, Hamie, supported his account, explaining that Celeste had opened up to their family about the struggles she was dealing with at home. To them, it wasn't surprising that she wanted to escape. What was shocking was how quickly that escape turned into something tragic, and official records backed that up. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office confirmed that Celeste had been reported missing 3 separate times in 2024 before she vanished for good in April. This wasn't random behavior. Celeste was a child trying to get away from something, and that's where the situation took a darker turn. Josh allegedly knew about her unstable home life. He knew she was a runaway, but instead of helping her return to safety, insiders claim he used that knowledge to pull her in closer. According to people familiar with what was happening, Josh was the one who convinced Celeste to leave home and stay with him. Looking back now, that decision appears deeply sinister. Rather than protecting her, he may have led her further into danger. And people online have noticed this pattern. They're saying Josh's issue isn't only his association with David, it's his entire history. He previously managed Lil Mosey during a period when Mosey was facing serious legal trouble. And notably, Mosey walked free after Interscope's lawyers, the same legal team connected to Josh, helped beat the charges. That connection has raised eyebrows. At the same time, not everyone is pointing fingers at David. Some people are defending him. Even Charleston White spoke out, saying he didn't believe David was responsible. According to Charleston, there is no solid evidence directly linking David to what happened to Celeste. He questioned the situation entirely, saying, "When do they ever let a man walk free if they have even little proof? People have been locked up with far less than this." And that's where the narrative really starts to shift. If the reality is that the LAPD doesn't have enough evidence on David, that may explain why federal investigators redirected their attention to Josh Marshall. Reports suggest investigators are holding on to serious evidence, including what could be video and photo footage taken directly from a Tesla. That kind of evidence doesn't just spark online speculation. It's the kind that holds weight in a courtroom. At this stage, the situation is far bigger than internet rumors or theories. A 14-year-old girl lost her life. The adults who should have stepped in, the manager, the artist, and even the record label, remained silent until law enforcement finally intervened. Whether Josh was the one who physically moved her body, or whether he simply knew too much and chose to stay quiet, the result is the same. What was once a career built around music has now become a story centered on a federal arrest. And if the reports are true and investigators really do have footage from that Tesla, Josh Marshall could spend the rest of his life paying for the decisions he made. So what do you think? Did the truth finally catch up to him? Or is there still more waiting to come out? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
home.
Josh knew Celeste was missing, knew she was underage, and knew she was connected to his client, David. Yet just weeks later, Celeste was right back in that same apartment, living with both of them again. This isn't internet gossip. It's a verified timeline from people who knew her personally and fought to bring her home. Now think about it. If you're managing an artist signed to Interscope Records and someone tells you your client has a missing 14-year-old staying in his home, what's your move? You'd call her parents, alert the police, do anything to protect your name. But Josh said nothing, not a word. Private investigator Steve Pfizer, who's been tracking this case for months, went on Pop Crime TV and said the silence from Josh, David, and even Interscope was deafening and made them all look guilty as hell. And the silence didn't stop there. Even after Celeste was found, Josh went online denying everything, claiming he never got that email, never lived with David, and knew nothing about Celeste. When TikTok users started connecting the dots, Josh clapped back, calling it all baseless and unfair. But that's when the cracks started to show. Celeste showed up at his place twice. That February email brought her home the first time. And when she disappeared again, her friends didn't reach out to strangers. They went straight to Josh. That says everything. At that point, this story stopped being bad PR. It started sounding straight up sinister. And when Josh finally broke his silence, his words didn't clear his name. They made people more suspicious. Josh tried to flip the narrative, saying he's just a family man with 3 kids and no ties to Celeste. He even dropped a long statement online. And here's what he wrote. The video was false, and the person is misinformed. This is the only time I'll speak on this matter for now. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children. I receive no emails, and I am no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14, and this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything. I don't live in California. I work remotely 95% of the time. My job doesn't require me to interact with David, as others handle him daily, not me. This news is tragic for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind people, a lot of this is speculation and alleged. In the meantime, I'm with my family, helping them get through the news emotionally. Please report on factual information. On the surface, that sounded like smart damage control, like a dad protecting his family. But here's the thing, the receipts don't lie. That email was real. The timeline lined up perfectly, and Celeste's friends reached out to him directly before she vanished again. Somehow she still ended up under his roof twice, and then came the detail that gave people chills. When police discovered Celeste's body, she was wearing a bracelet with a single letter M. Fans online instantly connected it to Josh Marshall, who has been photographed multiple times wearing a gold chain with the same letter. Maybe it was just coincidence, but in a case this twisted, no one was buying that story. According to LAPD reports, Celeste's body looked like it had been left inside that Tesla for weeks before the car was finally towed. Neighbors noticed it sitting there for a long time. And get this, the Tesla wasn't even hidden. It was parked right on the street, moved a few times, then abandoned on Bluebird Avenue like nothing happened. When 2 yard workers caught the smell, they called police, and what they found shocked everyone. Celeste was discovered wrapped in a bag inside the trunk. Her remains were dismembered, something no one could explain away with, "I don't know." That wasn't an accident. That was a cover-up. Then came the detail that made the case explode online. A neighbor said they found a Tesla keycard near David's Hollywood Hills property, just lying in the gutter. They admitted they picked it up with their bare hands before realizing it could be evidence, and quickly turned it into the LAPD. So with all that, Josh's denial started sounding shaky at best and downright suspicious at worst. Even after this, he doubled down, commenting online, "Stop creating false narratives and assumptions. I have no cars in California. I don't live with David. I had zero knowledge of anything." But social media wasn't buying it. Fans began connecting the dots, and every single one seemed to lead back to him. Meanwhile, on David's official subreddit with over 200,000 members, fans launched their own full-blown investigation. They posted screenshots, dissected lyrics that suddenly felt chilling, and even pulled scenes from his old music videos that now looked way too dark to ignore. Then things turned suspicious. Out of nowhere, Reddit posts about Celeste started vanishing. Whole threads were wiped like they never existed. Users noticed the only listed moderator on David's subreddit was David himself. That meant he was the one deleting posts, silencing conversations, and erasing anything that made him look guilty. Fans went ballistic. They accused him of covering his tracks. Not long after, the subreddit was locked completely. But that wasn't the end. What people found next made everything darker. Turns out Celeste might not have been the only one caught up in David's mess. Several people came forward claiming David had a pattern of chasing younger girls. One person alleged he was dating an 8th grader and taking secret trips with her to LA. Her friends even said David paid them to stay quiet. That wasn't random rumor. That was from people who claimed they saw it. And months before Celeste's death, a chilling comment had already gone viral under one of David's TikToks. It read, "Waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with that 13-year-old girl." That was February 2024, long before anyone knew about the Tesla or Celeste's body. Looking back, that comment hit differently. It didn't sound like trolling anymore. It sounded like someone knew exactly what was happening. And the fact that David never responded, never denied it, just let it sit there for the world to see. That silence spoke louder than anything he ever said. When fans linked David's lyrics and visuals to real-life events, everything took a dark turn. They rewatched his music videos, and what they saw made their skin crawl. In the video for One More Dance, David plays both the killer and the victim. At one point, he drags a lifeless body across the floor and shoves it into the trunk of a car. Back then, fans brushed it off as dark, edgy art, creative shock value. But after Celeste was discovered in the trunk of his Tesla, that video hit differently. It felt like he had shown the crime before it even happened. Was it an eerie coincidence or something sinister? Either way, once people saw it again, they couldn't unsee it. But while fans dissected lyrics and videos, one group stayed silent: his label. Interscope Records, the powerhouse behind David, didn't release a single statement. Not even a generic acknowledgement. That silence spoke volumes. And the fact that this was the same label that once signed Cassie when she was still a teen made people suspicious. To fans, it looked like the label was protecting an investment instead of demanding justice. That lack of accountability only fueled outrage. Soon, the firestorm wasn't just about David, it was about Josh Marshall too. On X, users dragged both men, posting receipts, emails, and timelines. They hadn't forgotten Josh or his shady denials. One viral post summed it up: the silence is deafening. David, you've got nothing to say about your underage girlfriend being found in a car registered to you? And Josh Marshall, you knew everything about his life. You managed him. How are both of you still this quiet? Fans were furious neither had spoken a word. Some didn't hold back, posting, "Arrest these two. They're right here." One or both of them did something to Celeste. Josh knew she was underage and missing. Lock them up. LAPD is taking too long. By then, the internet wasn't just talking about creepy lyrics or deleted threads. It looked like a coordinated cover-up. An artist, his manager, and even a major label, all silent while the body of a 14-year-old was found in his car. The longer that silence dragged, the more people believed the truth was being buried.
He didn't do it.
Fuck out of here. All the evidence that's out there.
When they gonna let a nigga stay out this long, they got a little bit of evidence. They didn't arrest nigga with way less evidence. If nothing else, put him in jail, just put a hold on.
Soon, it wasn't just random fans pushing theories. It was people who actually knew Celeste. Her ex-boyfriend Damien said she didn't have the easiest home life. According to him, Celeste often joked about running away, but sometimes it didn't sound like a joke. He recalled her laughing about leaving Lake Elsinore behind, and then she was gone. Damien's mom, Jaime, backed him up, saying Celeste opened up to their family about struggles at home. To them, it wasn't shocking she wanted to escape. What was shocking was how fast her escape turned tragic, and records confirmed it. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office reported Celeste missing 3 separate times in 2024 before she disappeared for good in April. This wasn't random. Celeste was a kid trying to escape something, and that's where things turned darker. Josh allegedly knew all about her unstable home life. He knew she was a runaway, but instead of helping her get back to safety, insiders claim he used that information to pull her closer. According to people close to the situation, Josh was the one who convinced Celeste to leave home and stay with him, a move that now looks sinister in hindsight. Instead of protecting her, he may have dragged her deeper into danger, and people online haven't missed that pattern. They're saying Josh's problem isn't just his connection to David, it's his entire track record. He used to manage Lil Mosey back when Mosey faced major legal trouble. And guess what? Mosey walked free after Interscope's lawyers, the same ones tied to Josh, helped beat the charges. That link has people raising eyebrows. Meanwhile, not everyone is pointing at David. Some are defending him. Even Charleston White spoke up, saying he didn't do it. According to Charleston, there is no real evidence directly tying David to what happened to Celeste. He even questioned the entire situation, saying, "When do they let a man walk free if they have even a little proof? They've locked people up with way less than this." And that is where the shift really happens. If the story now is that LAPD does not have enough on David, maybe that is exactly why the feds shifted their focus to Josh Marshall. Reports claim investigators are sitting on serious evidence. including what might be video and photo footage straight from that Tesla. That is the kind of proof that does more than fuel rumors online. It stands up in court. At this point, it is much bigger than internet theories or speculation. A 14-year-old girl lost her life. The people who were supposed to be the adults in the room, the manager, the artist, and even the label, stayed quiet until law enforcement finally stepped in. Whether Josh was the one who carried that body, or simply knew too much and stayed silent, the outcome remains the same. A so-called career built on music has turned into a headline about a federal arrest. And if the rumors are true, and the feds really do have that Tesla footage, then Josh Marshall could spend the rest of his life paying for the choices he made. So what do you think? Did the truth finally catch up with him? Or is there still more to this story? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.